8 things that you may not have known about Halloween 8. Now I know
they sucked. It sucked. Sucked ass. Sucked butthole.
Trick or treat.
Sucked a tit juice.
Motherfucker.
Sucked some cock.
Shit. Some of this stuff you guys might know, some of you guys might know all of it, but for me, when I was digging back through this shit, I went back and found a couple of old Fangoria magazines that before Halloween 8 came out and after it came out, that had some really interesting information in them and dug up some new information that I personally didn't know. So if you already knew this, I'm not telling you that you shouldn't have known or anything like that. We're just saying, here's 8 things you might not have known.
Why are you apologizing like a bitch?
Why are you a bitch?
Just do it!
Fucking be weird. Number 1, originally the script had a new character that was to carry the torch of Loomis, much like what they tried to do in the beginning of the new Halloween movie with Sartain.
First off, I would say, shut your goddamn mouth, because I never carried a torch. Never used it. I had a lighter. Yeah, well, I mean, a new character for Loomis would make sense, I guess, moving from what happened, unfortunately, to Donald Pleasance in H6 in real life. In Resurrection, having a new character, like a Loomis-type character, I don't know if that would have worked, because that movie sucked asshole anyway, and throwing him in the mix would have just been like, goddamn disrespect.
That's actually what they decided, is that it was too much to add to the script, because, you know, we had all these important things going on with Resurrection.
Bust rock!
Here's what the Fangoria Magazine said. It says, but a COD candidly reveals that getting Resurrection up and running was not easy. A character named Donaldson, an homage to Pleasance, which makes sense, Donald Pleasance, Donaldson, was introduced in an early script draft to pick up the Loomis character's torch, but was sadly discarded when the storyline became too unwieldy.
Yeah, you know, I would say Donaldson sounds like a foot powder. Again, I will agree with the studio on this, or a COD, that throwing him into the mix is not only disrespectful as fuck, I think, at this point or juncture, because the movie was garbage. It would have just been too much.
Well, I mean, it's weird because Halloween Returns, the defunct script from that, had a good Loomis-ish character with Rogers in there, and that would have made a little bit of sense. Plus, at the end of that script, they actually do bring Loomis back. But in this movie, it's hard to see where he would have fit, but at the same time, would it have been really hard to make this movie better? No. Number 1 is there was a Loomis-ish type character that was originally to be introduced in this movie that the script felt too busy for. That fucking script. Number 2, Jamie Lee Curtis was actually very impressed with her role in Resurrection upon originally reading the script. Now, many of you know from an interview that came out before Halloween 2018 release, she said that originally she thought that this was going to be the final installment in H2O, and she was really excited about it, and then halfway through filming, she finds out that it's not going to be the end, that they've got this twist planned out, and they've been planning on doing Resurrection the entire time, and she was real pissed, and she decided, at that point, I'm almost checked out, I'm almost just doing it for the money. With this news, it says that she was only contracted to do 30 seconds of Halloween Resurrection, but she liked the early draft of what happens to her character in the script so much, she agreed to work for 4 days to make that opening scene happen. He did a first draft that Jamie liked so much that she expanded her role from a small cameo to something that will effectively conclude her story arc. What interests me about that a lot is that imagine what Halloween Resurrection would have been in the opening scene if they only used her for her contractual obligations. What if she was only in that movie for 30 seconds? What would they have done with her? Would it have been a shitty flashback? Would it have been what? Jamie Lee Curtis agreeing to do 4 days worth of shooting could have really changed the entire forefront of that film, at least in the beginning of it. It could have been way fucking worse how they decided to end her character had she only agreed to do the 30 seconds.
If she'd only been in for 30 seconds, I would have just said, well, there's another corn in the turd.
Yes.
Because it's already a shitty movie, so it's like, that's just another corn.
Yeah, true. Number 3, Michael Myers had a Friday the 13th type moment in a deleted scene that ended up being cut from the film. That's why it's a fucking
okay.
Deleted
well,
scene.
I guess we're going to take from the well of everything we can get our hands on at this point.
Instead of talking about it, we're going to let Michael and Loomis show it to you. We're going to watch it together.
Okay. Don't touch. Mike, you will have your own titty. You have enough to go around. Yes, Michael is wearing the mask. Looks like post-op surgery Michael Jackson. Yes, Michael, you look like shit. God damn. I don't know what that is. Was that from your butt? Anyway, so Halloween Resurrection. Michael, what are you doing? You're smelling glue or ass? Apparently they had a scene, Michael, where you went to a goddamn campsite, the Lake of Crystal Skinner. You in his territory. It says Halloween Resurrection hemorrhoid, deleted scene, Michael steals Firebird. I didn't know you could even goddamn drive. Someone was doing very well last night. Someone here ain't giving good lessons, is what I say. So let's watch this shit. Yes, Michael. I know. You're as shocked as I am that you are even out right now. From that shit you pulled yesterday, when you snuck in and tried to jack off to Golden Girls. Gross. Gross. I just said it came out, Mike. It's okay. So, in 3, 2, 1. Don't touch. Its quality is low key, like my ex-wife. Michael, what are you doing? Who's filming this? Someone with Tourette's, apparently. I think they cussed. What the fuck is that? That's some geeky shit. No, Michael, we're not doing it.
He is so dead.
You are so
Boyfriend's gonna kill me.
Dressing me.
He loves that car.
End of story. Yeah, great. Michael went to a campground. He saw some teenagers fucking. Like he's never done that before, except in a campground. The same old, same old. Someone was flopping around on some girl. Looked like he was having a seizure trying to have sex for the first time. Michael got turned on and walked away. Because he only has eyes for his sister. Hey little sister, what have you done? Hey little sister. No, Michael, stop. I'm not trying to do it for you.
Number 4. This one is fucking poo-poo. They tested the movie 3 times with audiences, and apparently, and I keep saying fucking apparently,
And why do you do it like it didn't happen?
The one thing the audiences said is that Busta was a fucking star and he was amazing and they wanted more Busta. So much so that they went back and reshot the ending of the film and did reshoots twice to add more Busta in the movie and to give him a more prominent role in the film. So as much as we all hate it, whatever test audiences they were screaming were fucking loving the Busta Rhymes in this movie.
Where do they get these test audiences? Where do they sample them from? Like fucking Norwegia? Or like, do they sample them from some kind of country that doesn't even know about Halloween? They're like, watch, it's like, is this film about candy corn?
They literally screened it for Busta Rhymes' family. Here's what the Fangoria said. It said, a rush to lock down the film. An initial test screening was held in August. What happened next was kind of interesting. Basically, Busta Rhymes emerged as the star of the film, says Rick Rosenthal, the rapper turned actor who plays internet producer Freddie in the movie. And I don't think anyone realized that going in. I mean, everyone thought he was terrific, but nobody knew he would be able to sustain the performance to the degree that he did. Busta went from, did you see him? He was great, to, he's a movie star. He tested unbelievably hot.
I literally just rolled my eyes so hard that I broke a planet.
The mission was prepared to double team and accelerate post-production, but all of a sudden Busta emerged as this incredible star, and the ending we had didn't really feature him. And the reason it didn't was that in Resurrection's first cut, Rhymes' character was already dead at the hands of Michael Myers.
Good.
So we sat down and kicked around some ideas about what we could do, Rosenthal notes. I came up with the idea of what if Busta knocks down the door in the garage at the end. I felt that if the door came flying open and it was Busta, the crowd would go crazy. That made sense, but in order to make that work, we would have to go back and reshoot and restructure some things differently. That happened.
That's not a peanut, that's a space peanut. Nope, what you got there is a big old frozen chunk of poopy.
Number 5, Josh Hartnett's H2O character John Tate was originally mentioned during the rooftop scene when Lori died. Just before being dropped off the rooftop, Lori apparently whispered, "You'll never find my son," to
I
Michael
will
Myers.
find him.
I wish Michael had because the movie was already shitty enough. It's like,
You think your son is safe from me? I will find him.
If Michael was the one that dropped off the rope. But she apparently said, "You'll never find my son." It was cut out from the film as well as the original shot of her hitting the pavement, because that's fucking crazy. There's a shot, if you remember in H8 when she drops after being stabbed, she drops into a bunch of bushes, you know, and it's like, she could have lived in movie world.
I got the air knocked out of me even though I was stabbed in my guts.
In the movie world, she could have lived through that, but in the original shot of it, they had her hitting the pavement, dead as fuck. But they decided, and this is interesting to me, they decided in post-production to add those trees in there. And to me, the only reason...
I thought you said treason.
treason.
Treason!
The only reason they would have done that, the only reason treason they would have done that is because they thought, oh, maybe Jamie Lee will come back if the movie does awesome because of Busta. You know, maybe she'll have a love interest with Busta Rhymes, you know?
Maybe you could actually make a good fucking movie.
She could dance for him like in True Lies, and it'll be sitting in the chair and be like, woo-ah! It's weird that the franchise never acknowledges Josh Hartnett's character in John Tate after H2O, even though if we're going to continue with the familial storyline, that would be the next person Michael goes to kill after her.
Yeah.
Would definitely be him. So it would have made perfect sense for her to say, you'll never find my son. They could have lent the franchise to do future films, to bring him back, to do all sorts of shit in Halloween 9, but they went without it.
I think it's because they were 100% sure at this point. I mean, even though it makes sense, they should have added at least that dialogue in, that Josh Hartnett was never going to come back and do another one. Probably not unless you threw enough money at him. And so if Josh Hartnett had been semi-interested, if they had approached him to be like, you know, look, we're going to make Resurrection. We know it's a turd in the bucket, but we're going to get to Halloween 9. It's going to be great. And you're going to be the star of it. Maybe then they would have mentioned it, but I think that they knew that Josh Hartnett was not coming back. So throwing John Tate's name in there, everybody would have been expecting maybe at some point Michael to go after Josh Hartnett's character. So
number 6 will shine some light on that for you. And it's a terrible goddamn excuse. Number 6, both Busta Rhymes and Sarah Moyer, who was Bianca in the film, and the Halloween producers were hoping to bring both of those characters back for more sequels. It was originally the hope that Moyer would replace Jamie Lee Curtis as the centerpiece of the franchise, the Scream Queen of the 2000s. Originally, Busta Rhymes was supposed to die, as we said earlier, but due to the aforementioned test screenings, they planned to bring him back for several sequels as well.
fuck no.
Here's what the article says. Given that just about everybody usually dies in a Halloween film, Rhymes is asked at what point he meets his fate by Fangoria. A smile crosses his face in that stupid fucking way, and this is me. I'm not down with the dying aspect of this film, he says. I'm supposed to lose a body part, but I don't know if that's going to change or not. I do know that I want to be around for the follow-ups. I understand they're shooting 2 different endings, so who knows? In fact, recent reshoots have given Rhymes' character a larger role in the climax.
I will say you have chlamydia and herpes of the tongue. For sure. Definitely.
Yeah, and it's funny too, and again, it's Fangoria, I believe it's Fangoria Magazine number 251, 250, 251, maybe it's 214, 215. I'll put it in the description box below so you guys can find it if you want to check it out. But it's funny because when the interviewer is talking about it, when he goes to interview Busta Rhymes, he says Busta Rhymes comes out of the back of a bus, and from the outside of the bus, you could hear Busta Rhymes on his phone screaming at someone and cursing at him. And apparently he gets out of the bus with a scowl on his face, and his whole entourage walks into the building, and he snaps up a script all pissed off and goes to sit in the chair. And they're like, thankfully, we walked into the lines, but by the time we went to interview him, he was calm. like apparently he was just like full on fucking Busta on the set, just calling shots and like just telling people how the fuck it's gonna be. It's crazy, man. It's a crazy world we lived in the 2000s. I'm telling you.
I feel like Seth Rogen and knocked him like, fuck off.
Okay, so number 7, we're gonna kick this. We're gonna punt it to our friend Jimmy Champagne, who has an awesome channel. He does amazing horror movie news stories, Halloween, Child's Play, Nightmare on Elm Street, all that good shit. He's an excellent dude, and he has a cool haircut. So
Champagne gonna give it to us.
Jimmy. No sex in Jimmy's Champagne room.
Oh.
How's it going, We Watched a Movie viewers? In today's 7th fact, I'm going to be telling you all about why the Halloween Resurrection mask looks so goddamn haunting. The source for this fact is issue 215 of the old run of Fangoria, all the way back in August of 2002. Their writer, Mark Shapiro, at the time interviewed a guy named Chad Washam all about how he was hired by a company called Cinema Secrets to make the mask for Halloween Resurrection. I looked into this company to see if they're still around now, and it looks like they just sell makeup on Amazon, which is pretty weird. It might be a different company, I'm not sure. As the story goes, Cinema Secrets licensed the original design for the first Halloween mask from a company called Compass International. They're like the predecessor to Trancast International. They're basically the same company, and they put out movies like Halloween, Tourist Trap, and Blood Beach until they closed in 1981. This is where it gets a little confusing. Don Post Studios made the original William Shatner mask that was altered for Halloween 1, and they sued Compass International when they heard the license had been sold because they made the original Shatner mask and they were going to make their own Michael Myers masks that year. Fortunately for Compass and Cinema Secrets, the court saw this for what it was, which was a lazy fucking cash grab on Don Post's part, and they dropped the lawsuit altogether. And after that, Cinema Secrets talked to Trancast and they were hired to make the mask mask for Halloween Resurrection. The mask that Trancast wanted is basically a 50-50 split between H2O's mask and the original Halloween's mask, and that's pretty much exactly what they got. And the funny thing here is that Cinema Secrets, when they wanted to make an original Halloween mask, all they got was a postcard picture and one production still, and then when they started working on a Halloween mask, they got tons and tons of reference photos they could use. Now, it's really easy to point the finger at Cinema Secrets and say, what the fuck did you guys do to the original Halloween mask? But they delivered on exactly what they were asked to do, and the production photo that's shown in that Fangoria issue actually looks pretty good when it's all dirtied up. It really does look like a modernized version of the original Halloween mask, which again is exactly what they were asked to make. They ended up making about 100 masks for Halloween Resurrection, which ended up being a few too many, so the extras were all sold to fans, and then they sold even more around Halloween that year. Potentially the saddest thing about all this is that at the time they said that they used to have the licenses for Freddy and Jason, and those masks sold okay, but they were really anticipating selling about 10 times more of these Halloween Resurrection masks. As it turns out, back in 2002, I was only 9 years old, and I still remember to this day my mom taking me up to Sam Goody and looking at all the Halloween masks that year and taking a nice long look at that Michael Myers from Halloween Resurrection and saying, "Mom, I don't think that looks very good. I don't want that mask anymore." But anyway, now you know all about how the Halloween Resurrection mask is basically the result of a phony lawsuit. Thanks so much for having me, Mike and Jay. I'm sending it back to you.
Thank you,
Thanks,
Jimmy.
Jimmy.
You're a fucking badass.
You like Jimmy or James?
I like the way you smell.
Whatever.
I've never smelled you.
I bet he smells like jupe.
But I want to. Last one, number 8. We're going to kick this one away too. We're going to kick this one away to Michael Myers himself and Dr. Loomis. You might not have known this, but Halloween 8 had an alternate opening scene featuring young Michael Myers and his family.
Apparently, there was an opening different to Resurrection. Did it suck less? No! Same shitty ass goddamn representation of Michael Myers and the terror that he brings. But yet in this opening, they show a rare glimpse of Michael's fucked up family. Michael, I hate your parents. I hate that they spawned you, that they birthed you, that they raised you. I would have drowned you in a well when I saw your dirty ass black eyes. However, they raised this piece of shit, this rage-fueled Michael Myers that will chop titties up and make mincemeat out of wieners and then eat the wieners first. That's what I'm saying. So anyway, let's go. Michael, click the button. Mike's been learning. I will put a goddamn shot collar in your mouth. No. It's gross. Oh yeah, it's your parents. That's lovely. Are they ever gonna pay their goddamn psychiatric bill that they owe me? You don't have any money. Michael, you were ugly. What are you doing? You're staring at a goddamn... What's the door gonna do? Not open? You know what you're doing? You're playing with your wiener! Goddamn, I remember that face. I wanted to slap it even when you were young. Yes, great. That's wonderful. So I can see why they cut that out, because obviously you were ugly as fuck, and you were playing with your winky. Yes, you were, Michael. You were playing with your winky staring at the fucking wall at a family picnic. Yeah, well, you know, I guess you gotta get it in when you gotta get it in. But that's nasty, Michael. Nasty. Nasty boys like Janet Jackson. Nasty. Nasty boys. Mike and Jay, get your asses and do something, you piece of shit YouTube channel.
We love your fucking faces, and don't forget to click that subscribe button because we need it. Because as we said, YouTube thinks we're disgusting.
Yeah, they are
and they
fucking...
hide our videos from everyone. Like the fucking franchise
Right now,
hides this movie.
Guys,
from
they are
everyone.
pressing us against a corner and butt fucking the shit out of us like sea bass.
And it hurts. It gets sore after a bit. I'm not complaining, but it gets sore.
I mean, what'd you want me to do? He hawked on my burger.
We watched a movie. Yeah. We watched a movie. We watched it. We watched a movie. Yeah. You know what? Weekend review. We watched a movie. We watched a movie.